Yo, Xnel here, and this video is for you if you find yourself just spamming launchers in your ranked games. If you are, then you may find yourself destroying noobs in lower ranks because they don't know how to block and they just keep eating your launcher and your massive AT damage combo. But you may also find yourself in later ranks hitting a wall where all of your launchers are getting blocked and you're just getting punished. And that's okay, because launchers aren't supposed to be spammable. It may have worked in lower ranks, but now you have to level up your neutral game. And the neutral game is this, when the two characters are just standing there. This is when you move around, find the range on your opponent, and then you start to pull out something out of your pocket, some offensive technique, and in your case it may be a launcher. But again, once you start getting into intermediate ranks, spamming launchers just isn't gonna work. You're gonna get punished just like that. If you can't spam your launchers, what do you do? Here's 8 other moves you can do during the neutral game to open up your opponent. The purpose of these moves is not to replace your launcher and combo entirely, but rather to supplement your offense. It's to make them uncomfortable enough so that they will make mistakes and be hit by your launcher, or at the very least allow you to deal damage even though you can't hit your launchers. This advice will be applicable to all characters. You just have to take the time to lab it and find the best move that works for you in each situation. The first move is a Whiff Punish. So a whiff is when a character misses an attack. A punish is an attack that is guaranteed to hit. So a whiff punish is an attack you do when you see the opponent miss an attack. So what you want is something that is fast, has a long range, is easy to execute, so that when you see the opponent whiff, you can easily hit that punish. So with Steve, for example, I can do Sonic Fan, which is super easy. It's just 1+2 and he does this. The range on that, it can hit from this far. And remember, when an opponent attacks, their hitbox actually gets extended. So if I'm hitting them from this range, when they do an attack, let's say they throw out a kick, I can even hit them from this range. So find something that you can be comfortable with hitting immediately when you see an opponent whiff. And you always want to be ready for that when you're moving around and looking at the opponent. See that they whiff, recognize that, and hit that punish as soon as you can. If you do this enough times in a round, not only do you get tons of damage, especially if your whiff punish is a launcher. Some characters have an easy long range launcher whiff punish. It will also tell them to stop attacking and they will hesitate, allowing you to come in and do your own thing. So once you find that move that you like, memorize its range. So for me, it's this range. If the opponent is moving around, I want to stay in this range so that I'm ready to whiff punish whenever he throws out an attack. Make sure you know that range because you don't want to whiff your own whiff punish and end up getting whiff punished. The second move is a counter hit tool. If you don't know what a counter hit is, simply put, it is an attack that hits while the opponent is in the process of doing their attack. In Tekken, certain attacks have different properties when they hit on counter hit. So for example, with Steve, that's back 1. But on counter hit, it does this huge stun, which allows for a combo. So for your counter hit tool, you want something that is fast, but also low risk and high reward. Low risk meaning that if it gets blocked, it's safe. You're not gonna get in trouble for throwing it out. But if it does hit on a counter hit, you get huge rewards. Another good counter hit tool with Steve is 1-2-1. So you can see that's all guaranteed and it takes a chunk off the health. And not to mention that is 10 frames, so it's one of the fastest moves in the game. And some characters get huge rewards for their 10 frame counter hit tools, such as Lars, who gets a heat engager off of his 10 frame jab string. So find something that is fast, low risk, but high reward. You can keep throwing it out. You're not gonna get in trouble for spamming it, and the burden is on the opponent. If they make a mistake, then you get more damage. The third move is a keep out tool. This is a move you do when you want the opponent to stay away from you and give you some space. You want something that has long range and is safe on block and also recovers fast so that you are not easily whiff punishable, because generally when you're playing keep out, you may tend to whiff sometimes. So with Steve, I find that QCF1 is one of his best keep out tools. So if I know that opponent wants to come in, I can try to do a QCF1. And as you can see, he goes into flicker stance, and in flicker stance, he can block. So it's kind of hard to whiff punish unless the opponent is really on point. I can do that. Sometimes I also do back 1+2, which is not only a good keep out tool because of its extremely long range, but it's also a power crush, and you get that guaranteed hit after. Some characters have a much easier keep out tool, such as a long range mid kick. Steve doesn't have that. Both of these moves are safe on block, by the way, which is what you want when in the neutral and the opponent is coming in, because they might be doing a dash guard or a dash block. So they come in, they block your keep out tool. You don't want to get punished for it. The fourth move is a pressure tool. It is where you will be able to apply your plus frames. Simply put, a pressure tool is an attack that when an opponent blocks, you are able to move sooner than your opponent can, allowing you more freedom to do whatever you want, which is most likely a mix-up between a mid or a low. For example, with Steve, his eraser or running 2 puts me at +6. I will be able to do what I want earlier than he can. The higher the number is on the frame advantage, the more plus it is, the sooner your character can move than the opponent. If I know that I'm in a situation where I'm +6, I am more likely to be able to hit that low stomp. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be mega plus. Something as small as +3 will allow you to start your offense going. So if I do this and go into a throw, that throw is going to be really hard to interrupt because I am at +3. I could also go into +2 and threaten with some low pokes, which also puts me in +2. So you can see how knowledge and application of frame advantage can really put you at an advantage in situations like this. Move number 5 is an approach tool, something that you can hit from a very long range so that you can deal damage, or at the very least come into range so that you can do the things that you want to do. With Steve, I have showed you one of them earlier. Not only is it a good pressure tool, it's also a good approach tool. It has a really long range, and if it hits, good. If it doesn't hit, then I'm plus and I'm in range to start my offense. Another good one is Albatross 2. If you trained your opponent to watch out for Albatross 2, you can cancel it and then you can start your offense. And of course, Steve can also use his duck-ins to close the gap. The sixth move is a big low. Some characters have better lows than others. Some characters have explosive lows. Steve doesn't have those. He has this. He has this. And these tools are the best that Steve can do to make an opponent duck. So with your character, find those huge lows that an opponent will not like getting hit by, so that they will be forced to duck. If you don't do any big lows, once you start getting into intermediate levels and opponents start to see that you're never doing big lows, then they will just stop ducking. And if they stop ducking, none of your mids are going to hit. So threaten them with your big lows. Don't be afraid of getting blocked. If you start getting blocked, then do some big mids. This also goes well with your pressure tool. Once they start ducking, you can go for your mid launcher. So sprinkle in those big lows in your offense, mix it up with mid checks or some big mids, and you'll be able to wear down your opponent. The seventh move is a homing move. Here's an easy way to use them. Look at the opponent, really watch your opponent and see, do they like to sidestep? If they do, throw out your homing move from time to time. An example with Steve is I like to do his running 2 as a pressure tool and as an approach tool, and intermediate and more advanced players will recognize that and try to sidestep it. And once I know that they can do that, then I can throw out my homing move. So just watch your opponent, test them out, try to run into them, see if they sidestep. Try to do a pressure tool, see if they sidestep. Do a low poke, see if they sidestep. So once you get that information, then you start throwing in those homing moves. And the eighth move is throws. Even I sometimes forget to throw, and I'm only reminded by it when my opponent throws. One way to use throws is if your opponent likes to block. Let's say you're not seeing them do some keep out tools, they just let you run up to them. Instead of trying your launcher, go for a throw. And not just a normal throw. Normal throws can easily be broken. Look at your command list, find out what your command throws are. Normal throws are the 2+4 or the 1+3. Command throws are those with special inputs. Those are harder to break. Make sure you learn those and apply them in your fights. Another way to use throws is if an opponent does a safe move but they're in your face. Let's say Reina does this. So she's safe, but she's in my face. So I could go for a throw. Another way you can do that is from your pressure tool. I'm +6, I do a throw. You could also do it from an advantageous low. So there are many ways you can use throws, and it can really get to your opponent mentally when they can't break it. They may even end up ducking just to avoid the throws, and that's when you can do your big mid launchers. So those are the 8 moves or techniques that you can use in the neutral game so that you're not always just spamming your launchers, and it can help you win more games and rank up in Tekken. My recommendation is to take each of these 8 moves one by one. Don't practice them all at once. You won't be able to apply them. It will be too much cognitive load. Take one, for example, Whiff Punishment. Go to practice mode, find out the perfect Whiff Punish tool that you like to use, and then focus on using that for a day, maybe a couple of days in a quick match or ranked matches. Just focus on finding that Whiff Punish range in the fight, looking at the opponent, seeing that they whiff, and then Whiff Punishing them. Get that habit drilled into your muscle memory, and once you already have that, then you can move on to the second one. If you keep doing this, you'll eventually find yourself at a point in time where you can recognize in an instant, oh, there's a Whiff Punish opportunity, I'm gonna Whiff Punish. Even though you're not not thinking about a whiff punish. Oh, here's a pressure opportunity. I'm gonna apply pressure. Oh, this guy is sidestepping. I'm gonna do homing move. You'll be able to pull these moves out of your arsenal without even thinking about it. It's just gonna take time. Have some patience. Tekken is a hard game, I understand. What's most important is that you're having fun, and if you're having fun, then you'll be able to go through the hard stuff and keep at it. Lastly, I would like to invite you to our Discord. We have a small Tekken community that I'm trying to grow, and we're trying to get good together. Hop on in. We would love to have you. So yeah, that's it. I hope this video was helpful. If you're a veteran of the game and you watched this all the way through, I appreciate it. You didn't have to. I'm sure you already know all this, but maybe send this to one of your newbie friends. That would be very helpful. All right, see you on the next one.